get into it. Hello, brother. How you doing, man? Grab a microphone, have a seat.
Hello, hello, what up, Bay Area? What's going on? How y'all doing? Hello.
Lupe Fiasco's in the building. Back again to do it. Tell them what you've been doing in your time away from us, man.
Working on a new album, Lasers, in stores March 8th. You know, been working on a tour that we're gonna do. We're going to Australia next week. Little fashion stuff, little this, little that. He got on my shoes.
Everything.
Those are the Lupe Fiasco shoes. Oh, that's the Lupe Fiasco. Yeah, that's the follow-on shirt.
Show
off.
I guess you've been to his website, I see.
Just been working, man. Working, man. You know how it goes.
Tell them about the new project you're about to drop. They've been waiting so long to get it, and now it's coming. If you can one-on-one with the people, tell them what it's all about.
Well, you know, if you're a Lupe Fiasco fan, or you're aware of what my mission or what I look at in hip hop, and you know, just kind of the positive presence that I want to have in the game and leave in the game. You know, that's what this album is. You know, it's even more so that because it's like the people's album. I call it the people's album because it was the fans who wanted it. Like they petitioned for it when it was installed in the release date. They protested for it when it was installed on that. You know, so it's something that I think is going to be very controversial. You know, there's very, very controversial records on the album. You know, it's that good old-fashioned Lupe Fiasco food and liquor flow that you're used to, you know. And then it's me, you know, breaking barriers. You know, there's some club records on it, you know. So it's kind of me, you know, because a lot of fans say that Lupe Fiasco is underrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Lupe don't get the respect that he should get, or the commercial success that he do. So on this album, I think we're gonna change a lot of that.
How do you feel about the whole thing? You know, those TV made-up lists and things like that. Sometimes they don't add you in it. Do you feel any way about it? Like, man, I should be on there. Want to bust a head?
No, I don't necessarily feel too much ways about it. You know what I'm saying? They had a criteria, you know, of what they list are to them. You know, and my top 10, top 20, top 30 list, you know, it will be controversial and get people mad. So I don't really look too deep into it. But as an artist at the same time too, that it's still kind of like the barometer in the commercial space, because at the end of the day, I'm a commercial artist, you know what I'm saying? I put out commercial music for people to go buy and play on the radio and shoot videos for. So you definitely still want to be mentioned in that. You know, it still has some weight as an artist, because that's what art is being rated at. You know, I'm Grammy Award winning, Grammy nominated, the whole thing. But it's still kind of that when the list comes out, you know, this is the hottest dude right now. You think like, well, I'm hot and I'm right now. But
I feel like I'm right now for the people. What's a guilty pleasure in Lupe Fiasco? What do you listen to? They would be like, oh hell no, he don't listen to that. And do you, Dougie?
I don't Dougie. I don't get Dougie.
I'm just asking. It would be something I don't know, because you know I argue with you all the time. What is something I'll be like, word?
I cook though. I cook.
Word?
I rock with Lil B.
He's a big Little B fan. He just filled me in on the whole trying to swag. You cook this and all that, man?
It's fun, you know. That's my little homie. I don't know if I got any. I don't think, you know, it ain't nothing weird that I listen to. I listen to a lot of rock music and stuff like that, but a lot of what'd you call me when you first saw me today? A lot of
Jimi Hendrix. He had like a little Jimi Hendrix thing going when he walked in. He calls me fat all the time, so I gotta get him. It's a friendly thing. He's my friend. Anyway, Lupe Fiasco in the build, new album Lasers coming out. What's your dream project? Something that you really, really want to do, and not like some rated things, commercials. So what's something that you really, really want to do and come out?
I want the CRS record to come out.
Yes.
Yes. Please.
And
when you say come out, like it's done and y'all just sitting on it?
It's definitely not done. But you know, all we need is like 2 weeks. You know, if we get 2 weeks, it's just the way everybody's schedule is. We'll go off and do this tour, go off and do that, go off and do this special project, movie soundtrack, whatever, and everybody's just kind of all over the place. But I was just thinking about it this morning. You know, that was a project that we didn't have any type of commercial push, any money put into it, any official anything. And it's still, even when you get like, you know, Lil Wayne next album coming, or this dude album coming, or Drake next album, or whatever, CRS is always there. You know what I'm saying? In every interview Kanye do, every interview Pharrell do, every interview I do, it always come up from the biggest to the smallest. So I know that there's like people who want to hear that, you know what I'm saying? And I know that us together will do some crazy, crazy music. So that's one project that I just want to kind of put in the can and get out there in the world and get out the way.
You ever send a text like, man, can we do this, please?
Yeah, but we had them spurt, and it'd be text where it's like, man, forget it, because it's never gonna come out. You know what I'm saying? But I think every time we keep seeing the people, because it always come up, we think it's just gonna kind of go away. It's one of those things where they, nah, we want that. You know?
I'm gonna give you an opportunity to ask the one and only, the man himself. What y'all like to ask? Any questions in the crowd? Who got one?
I got a question.
You got one? I gotta walk over there. Oh, Marcus got over the microphone. What you want to ask, brother? What's your name? Where you from?
My name is Dominique. I'm from the Bay Area, Hayward, California. Okay. I'm wondering, how'd you get your start? What made you start off?
In what capacity?
As far as hip hop, what was your first real success? How'd you work that out?
I got my first record deal, on the commercial side, record deal. I got my first record deal when I was like just out of high school. I was signed to Epic Records with actually a group called The Pack. This was like 01 though. What?
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
And like from there, it was in a group, you know what I'm saying? But it was a group made up of different solo artists, you know what I'm saying? But that was the only way we could break into the industry. And from there, it was just kind of like, that was my start that put me in, you know, different places to just kind of shine as a solo artist and do, whether it was from battles or cyphers or just doing little talent shows and stuff. With that group, you know what I'm saying? With a record deal. It was my first kind of national look. It got me a lot of respect early in the industry with a lot of different, from A&Rs to just like promo radio dudes and stuff like that. It just got the name buzzing. So I always look at that moment, you know, being able to be in the pack and be in that group and get that first little shine. The record never came out, the album never came out, but it started the floodgates, you know, 10 years later.
What I always want to do, because this happened to us earlier, for them to always put you like in like a hippity hot box and stuff like that, and I know you. Tell them what you grew up listening to, what your influence was when you first started listening to rap, the kind of music you listen to. Because people, you know, they got to misconstrue it all the time. Like, oh man, he old hippity hot. Like, nah, he likes all the stuff that I like a lot. And we have good conversations. About clock, tell him.
Spice One.
Ow!
Spice One was a real big influence on me. A-Ball MJG was a real big influence. Too Short was a real big influence. He showed me what you could do with curse words. Tila was a big influence. He teased me because Tila was a big influence.
With you, dog, with you.
And then after that point, it was just kind of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I just downloaded Ja Rule's first album like 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. You just downloaded Ja.
But I had it.
That's what I was
when it first came
you
out.
You were kind of grown when it came out.
No. When it came out, I was still in high school, and I had it when it came out, and that was one of the albums that was like, yo, that's nasty. You know what I'm saying? And then you still had the Wu-Tangs and the Nas's and all that, but it was really everybody. You know, if you were nice, you know, and your beats was dope, and what you were saying was dope, even whether it was negative or positive at that time for me, I rock with it. You know what I'm saying? That's how much I love the music. Everything, but my initial influences were Spice One, NWA,
that's why I love that.
Gangsta
Negativity, I'm with it.
Strap right in.
I know you can never have bad days with work or anything like that because the fans love you so much and they really come out for you. How does that feel? No matter what happens at work-wise, like I want to do this in the work line, you can't put that out like that, but the fans, we want that. How does that feel when you go, man, look, the people want this, why are you in the way?
For me, it's like when we did the protest, right? People were saying, not when we did the protest, but when the fans started putting the protest together, and people kind of took it as like a joke, but they did like a website, they got the permits from New York City, because the main protest was in New York City, and so they were getting a lot of like media coverage, like they got coverage on CNN, they got coverage like on all these different little spots, and they were asking, some of them were super critical. They was like, yo, why don't y'all protest? You know, like domestic violence. Why don't you protest gang violence? Why don't you protest, child hunger? Why don't you protest, poverty? They were just like, why don't y'all do this instead of just protesting this rap album or this rapper? And the kid's response was like, yo, if you listen to Lupe Fiasco's music, or if you're aware of his career, what he does, you know that's what we're protesting for. That's what he does. That's what all his music is about. He embodies all those things. That you guys think that we're not protesting for. You're not giving us the benefit of the doubt, just saying since it's rap, or since it's a rapper, that it's a waste of time. This is a dude that we consider to be an influence, a positive influence for us. And this was their response to like the critics and the reporters and stuff. And it sent a shockwave, I think, through a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Because they weren't doing that for the gangster rappers. You know what I'm saying? They weren't beating down the doors for this dude, even though he was way more famous, has way more money than I have, way more this, way more that, for the appeal of way more money and everything else. You know, they weren't doing that for him. They were doing it for the underdog, for that guy. You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't get played on the radio? Who doesn't go on 106 they get played, but you know, who doesn't get but who doesn't get the million spin records? And they don't drop his records in the club crazy, and his video ain't on full rotation like this and stuff like that. You know, that's the guy that they wanted. And I think that that demand, it even shocked me, but it shocked the record label. You know, it shocked the radio DJs. It shocked the VJs. It shocked just kind of everybody in the industry, because that became the news story. It was like, oh wow, look at we kind of forgot about you, but you still got a whole fan base that's probably way bigger than Waka Flocka's, and maybe way more potent than Rick Ross's, and way more, even though they're way bigger than you know. So it was just kind of a warm, happy feeling, you know what I'm saying, deep down inside.
I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro.
So many years from now, when it's all said and done, what you want them to say about Lupe Fiasco?
If I led any person in a negative direction, or if I did things in the world that led people astray, I don't want to be remembered. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to take my name off the list. Bury the records, don't play me. I don't want to be remembered. If I'm being remembered as that. But if I'm remembered just by one person, as somebody who gave them a choice, or gave them some type of inspiration to do something positive, then that's enough. If I'm remembered by that one person, then so be it.
That's what it is. Give it up for my man Lupe Fiasco one time. Live with MTV Music. Backstage.